Hey everybody, welcome to Beasting Out. It's week 2 of fantasy, and I, of course, am going to give you 2 go hard picks that are going to score for your team this week, and I'm going to give you 2 go soft picks that aren't going to do quite as well in their matchups this week. I am wearing this week my special tribute to my first go hard this week with, of course, the Oregon Ducks. And one of the songs that they play, one of the fight songs they play at all their games, Shout, and a wonderful reference to Animal House. And of course, this guy, they put out an ESPN video of for game day of Marcus Mariota in Animal House. It was just so funny. Let's get on with it. Go hard, Marcus Mariota this week for sure. You can't not put him in this week. He has a really great matchup, and I know you're saying, well, he's a rookie, and a lot of you people, especially Prost, on his blog, on our app, said, you know, he tied Fran Tarkenton's rookie debut record. He got 4 touchdowns in his first week in the NFL. He got no interceptions, and this is just a fluke. He's not going to do it next week. Well, he might not get 4 touchdowns this week, but he is playing the Browns defense. Anybody can score against the Browns defense. And as long as the Titans and their coaching staff keep letting Mariota roll out like they should, instead of keeping him stuck in the pocket, he is going to go crazy this week. I at least think he's going to get 3 touchdowns, at least 200 yards. He might throw his first pick. Who knows? But Mariota is your guy to go to this week if you are playing matchups. I am in a bad position this week, personally, with Ben Roethlisberger in a really bad matchup with the defense. I'm going to pop him in, everybody, and I think you should too. Last week, of course, 4 touchdowns. He went 13 for 16, 209 yards, and a 158.3 passer rating, which is near perfect. So you don't want to forget that when you're putting him in this week either. My next pick is running back Chris Ivory of the Jets. Reason you need to put him in is he is also in a really good matchup this week. He's up against the notoriously horrible run defense of the Colts. We know how bad they are. We've seen people run around them like crazy. And Chris Ivory had a great week last week. 2 touchdowns, 20 rushes, 91 yards, a 4.6 yards per catch in week 1 against the Browns. Once again, bad run defenses, you got to take these players and you got to take advantage of them on the weeks that you have them available, because then you're going to have them up against bad defenses and you're not going to get as good of a point percentage out of them. So definitely get Ivory in this week. He is my second go hard. So let's get on to the go softs. I never thought I would ever have to say this on this show. Last season, 2 seasons ago, we were talking about getting Manning. 7 touchdowns in his debut game of the season. Peyton Manning going crazy. Still has gas in the tank after that neck surgery. Now, you unfortunately have a guy that doesn't have as much arm strength, and I'm going to get crap from a few Broncos fans on that, but I think his arm strength is a little bit lacking. I also think the change in coach, Fox now has, of course, come over to the Bears. Now you have Kubiak coaching over on the Broncos. It's more of a grind and pound offense. And you have that with their grind and pound defense, and it's a slower game. And Peyton is used to it moving a little bit faster and used to throwing those long passes. Well, he can't throw them anymore, so Kubiak is turning into a grind game. And you're looking at more points out of C.J. Anderson. You're looking at more points from Ronnie Hillman, but not as many points out of Peyton. Pretty damn embarrassing first week. Of course, he was playing against the Ravens, so he has an excuse there. No touchdowns for Peyton Manning in fantasy. 175 yards. I got 5 points out of him in Yahoo and ended up losing because you put Peyton Manning in week 1. Even against the Ravens, you thought, okay, maybe I'll get 20 points out of him. I got 5 points. Kansas City's defense is coming up this week, and that's not going to be a treat for him either. They've been playing very well, so I think you should avoid him this week. I hate to say that. I mean, a lot of you, of course, forced to take him, put him in your lineup because you took him early in your draft. But if you have another choice with a better matchup, I'd put them in. So my final go soft this week is Amir Abdullah over on the Lions. He has a halfway decent matchup the week that against the Chargers. He played last week and got 1 touchdown, 50 yards rushing. He got 4 receptions for 44 yards. That's an 11.1 average per carry. But week 2, he's playing the Vikings, which usually would be ominous, but they looked pretty sketchy last night up against the Niners. And also, a lot of you know that AP didn't take off as much as he should have. In the running game, they're being very cautious with him. Nobody really knows why, if they just think he's injury prone or if they're just changing their scheme. But I think the Vikings will bounce back, and I think they're going to take it to the Lions. And it's also, you have to remember always that notorious division game. When the Bears play the Packers, you're not going to get as good of fantasy numbers. When the Vikings end up going up against the Lions, you're not going to get as good of a fantasy percentage on your points. So I don't like this matchup, even though the Vikings let Hyde run all over the place. But this just doesn't smell good to me. I don't think you should put him in your lineup, and he's definitely a go soft. So coming up next, we are going to have Jenna Lee's Real Men and her go hards and go softs. Stay tuned.